I'm the type of person who seeks out relationships and puts a lot of energy into procuring and maintaining relationships with people who are achieving things at higher levels than myself. Growth gang, welcome back to another growth talk. My name is Coach Dash. We're back in a familiar place, but with a new face. I want to introduce to you to my brother, Eyden. I have a little note here because I can't say this as perfectly as I would like to be able to convey the admiration that I have for the young man. I'm thrilled to introduce you to a brother of mine, Eyden, a young entrepreneur with an inspiring story of resilience and determination. When I met Eyden, he was straight out of high school and diving into a welding career to pay the bills. However, driven by a desire for more, he worked tirelessly to build a successful business that would allow him to leave his day job behind and pursue his passion for business full time. This ambition took him all the way to Thailand, where he sought new opportunities and experiences, embracing the adventure that life had to offer. But as fate would have it, both Eyden and I would end up back in Canada at the same time, ready to regroup, rebuild, and set our sights on the future. So I wanted to utilize this opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with him. Join us as we dive into Eyden's journey, explaining how he has harnessed his experiences to cultivate a powerful mindset, overcome challenges, and chase his ambitions with tenacity. Eyden, my brother, welcome to Growth Talk.
Man, thank you for having me.
No, it's honestly an honor to have you.
It was really well written.
Well, I didn't want to be reading it on, you know what I mean, sitting here reading it off, but I wanted to get it out verbatim. I felt that, you know what I mean, all the PowerPoints in there, it really covers my admiration for you and is going to help set the stage by allowing people to know that this isn't just your typical conversation. This is somebody that I wanted to bring on out of pure respect and admiration for your character and, more importantly, your mindset. So today, we're really going to discuss mindset. We're going to get into, you know what I mean, a little bit of personal life because we've carved out interesting chapter in both of our stories recently.
Yeah.
I'll start off by just explaining, like I said in the intro, when I first met Eyden, he was just finishing high school, was heavy in the gym. I could really tell by his presence in the gym and his skill set in the gym, that he had been in the gym, but he was fresh out of high school, just a young guy. And he was working a welding job to pay the bills. And when we first connected, it was I gave him my card. I was doing a bit of business consulting and business coaching at the time. And I gave him my card because I knew there was ambition in there and I just wanted to make myself I just felt called to make myself available to him just in case there was any way that I could be of service, try and expedite his process. I actually love how it went down. He was so well guarded, but in a good way. How most guys, especially ambitious guys, they're quick to, I got this idea, I'm working on this, I got this going on. Da, da, da. He was so reserved, it threw me off guard. I gave him my card, he took it, he gave respect, everything, you know what I mean? We had a great exchange, but I gotta admit, I walked away with no expectation of ever hearing from Eyden again. He was just way too reserved, about his business idea, not so much as a man, but his business idea. There was no way that he would even tell me anything about it. He was so guarded about it. And but I loved that. Most people aren't guarding their ambition, you know what I mean, with that kind of fortitude. So he did. And so he ended up reaching out to me 3 months later, called me 3 months later. I had forgotten all about Eyden. Didn't even remember being at the gym that day type thing. And he reached out to me and we ended up building up a relationship. He ended up telling me what his business ambition was and what he was working on and everything. And I tried to jump in the ring with him and assist him in the best way that I could. But our meeting ground, our mutual point was definitely a mindset thing.
100%. Man.
That's where we met in the middle was just it was definitely a mindset thing. But it just as such a young guy, it almost threw me off guard because I'm 36, you're 20? 19 years old, not even 20 yet. See, that's the thing. I always want to try and put another year or two on you, even when I think that I'm right in my guesstimation of your age. Cause nobody who's actually spent time with you one-on-one or had any kind of an intellectual conversation with you would definitely know that like you're wise beyond your years. Like this isn't your first run, so to speak, I believe.
Yeah.
So like, but we definitely like our mutual connection. Like it started at the gym, but then it was just like a respective mindset.
Mhm.
And like, it was just so cool to me for somebody who's 19. Like,
You met me when I was like,
I think you were like 17.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like literally just out of high school. Like, I think you've been out of high school for like a year and a half, maybe like a
Yeah.
year, and you were welding. And like, that's like, you were still really tight with all, you know what I mean? With your high school friends and stuff like that. But it's funny because over the years since we've met, you know what I mean? Those people inevitably kind of start to fade away as you grow and your mindset changes, which is the whole thing that I want to discuss with you. And I don't want to lead the whole conversation and not have any time for you to speak, but you know what I mean? I have a lot of points that I wanted to articulate about you just to set the stage so people know who they're talking to, because you're definitely, like I said, like a more reserved kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of keep it like,
Yeah. No, and I respect that about you. Like, even like, he's actually the first person where like he made the awareness of some general information. We won't get into the specifics that it existed, but he's like, but listen, like I can raise awareness around certain things. I can shed light on certain, you know what I mean? Certain things for you to do your own research and go and find. But out of respect and admiration and agreements with people that have shared the information with me, I can't just start sharing it with you. But like I can give you a little thread to pull at to go
give you nuggets.
go, you know what I mean? Just to trigger that awareness point, and then you can go and find it for yourself. That was the first time anybody had ever actually laid it out to me in that way. Like the first time I was like, what are you, fucking gatekeeping information, bro? Like what the fuck? And then I realized in reflection, like that it's literally the first time that somebody really stood their ground with their commitment and their respect and their agreement with somebody else, and was articulating in the most respectful way to me that like, listen, this is about as much as I can give you, because like I really want to give it to you, and I know you'll figure it out and you're going to find it. It's like, but like, this is as far as I can go out of respect and my commitment and agreement with somebody else. Blew my fucking mind. You actually blow my mind a lot, to be honest, like, cause you're so fucking young, but it just goes to show like life experiences,
right?
life experiences, bro. Like you had a compounded life experience, as where some people, you know what I mean? Their lessons are maybe coming at a slower timeline, a different digression, different progression. Yours happened very quickly, but more importantly, it's not like they aren't happening for people, but like you were home to receive the lessons. So like, shout out to you for being introspective enough to have caught all the lessons this early that you have.
It took time. It took a lot of time.
It's funny that you would say that, right? Being 19, I think it would fuck anybody's head up, because any guy watching that's anywhere near my age or older than you is just like that's 18, 19 is like the starting point.
Yeah. See, I've had this saying, it's just like when you turn 18, it's like you turn 0 again.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to figure out all this shit.
Well, because you went from being a full grown boy to a brand new man.
Yeah, exactly.
It literally, it's like when you, like, if you're like me and you went to like a separate middle school, like I went from elementary school from 1 to 6, and then we had a separate middle school, and the place where I grew up where 7 and 8 was separate. And then you went to high school, and it's like, well, like, man, I can remember like 3 very pivotal times that like I was brand new all over again. Like I went from being the oldest, like, and the top dog, the most seasoned person in the building, to the newest person in the building. So like that's the first, like, you know what I mean, little reference point when you say that, like, yeah, like it's so true. Like you become a brand new man, because like that everything changes.
It really does.
Like you start depending on who raised you, you know what I mean? Like I had my dad around, like he definitely interjected a lot, but wasn't like around, and he didn't raise me by example. Let's put it that way. He had a lot of really great advice and stuff, but didn't necessarily lead by example. But like, I forget where I was going with that. Oh, I forget where I was going with that.
It's all good, man.
But like, I don't know. Let's just get into it though. Like, what do you consider? Do you consider yourself to be of a fixed mindset or a growth mindset?
It kind of flips between the two.
Yeah,
Honestly,
interesting. I'd like to hear that.
I'm not gonna sit here and just say like, oh yeah, I'm like the most growth minded person. No, like there are times where definitely yes, I am growth minded, and then there's also things where I'm a little bit lower on the scale with that, right? But it's all in relativity to if I've eaten food or not. Truthfully,
Circumstantial.
it's purely circumstantial, but
Yeah.
majority of the time, I'd like to consider myself to be like growth minded, just to be open and accepting of different perspectives, and even if I don't accept them, I'm still courteous. Oh,
Courteous and like open to the interpretation of it.
exactly. Yeah.
Like I feel like some people think they're in a growth mindset, but they're actually like have such a rigid and narrow worldview that they're actually not.
Yeah, like majority of people think to themselves, "Oh yeah, I'm so growth mindseted," but they're really diving themselves deeper
Yeah.
into that narrow mindset of just like, "Oh, I know everything." Like, "Oh, fuck off. I don't want to listen to you." You know what I mean? Like,
See, that to me, that's not a growth mindset.
that's
Like it
just
really
ignorance.
isn't like that is. It's just ignorance and arrogance. Like anything that comes to me that like I didn't self study through a book or anything. It's just because I've created a vessel that is capable of harnessing infinite intelligence. Therefore, I can channel information. Some people just think that they're God's gift to man, like that they just know everything.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, you may have figured out the streamline and the gateway to tap into, you know what I mean, an intelligence bank that's higher than your own, and perhaps like you're good at conveying it. But I think it's such an arrogant statement to like when somebody's acting like they fucking know everything.
yeah, I totally agree with you.
And that's not a growth mindset person. I know a lot of people who like coaches and stuff like that. Like you can tell, like they're preaching the whole growth mindset and everything to their clients, the people in their container. It's like, but they're so rigidly fixed. Like they have tunnel vision on everything. Their worldview won't move, and they solidified that through like a hierarchy of believing that their way, their opinions, their everything is so much more superior to everybody else that they're not even open to interpreting other worldviews and other ways of looking at things. It's just like such a fucking shortcoming. Like that's my superpower, bro. Is like I'm liquid. Like when it comes to my learning and my interpretation of things, I stay liquid. Like if something comes up, you know what I mean? I'm either going through it, over it, around it, but like I stay liquid to it. Like, and I'm quick to adapt it into my process if it proves to be, you know what I mean? Proves to be worthy. Like for, at least for me and my processes, like everybody's different and the information, the processes that you adapt to and everything. But like almost 99% of my stuff didn't come from some intuitive, you know what I mean? Like aha place in meditation. It actually comes from being around other people who are, you know what I mean? Who are great at something and being open to their tutelage and taking little pieces from what they are and being like, you know what I mean? Like, I love this about you. That is something that I would be proud to say about myself.
Yeah.
So you start to create that adaptation and integrate that into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's my superpower. I'm always growing because of that.
Yeah.
Always taking in new information, always looking for somebody who's got a better way to do something, and like not assuming that my way is always the most superior way, because then you're never open to interpreting another way.
Exactly.
Where the fuck do you learn in that?
Well, it also comes down to just like the people that you hang around with, right? Like if you're hanging out with people that are just bottom definition bums, then you're gonna be one, right?
Big
But if
time.
you hang around people that are talking about, say, business, they're talking about money, they're talking about how to get better grades, maybe for the younger people, right? Then it's naturally just going to dawn on you, like thinking to yourself, like, hey, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And then you get to kind of change the direction that you're ultimately headed in just a better way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, because like those people create new vantage points for you to look down at look down on your situation. Like, I mean, like look down on, but like that helicopter overview, being able to see it. Like they create new vantage points for you to assess and address your situations.
100%.
And like, I don't know. That's why like I love, like, I'm the type of person who seeks out relationships and puts a lot of energy into procuring and maintaining relationships with people who are achieving things at higher levels than myself, whether they have better relationships, maybe their business, like, so their finances and stuff is, you know what I mean, is more where I would like it to be, or maybe they're just a better person.
Yeah.
Maybe like every time you see them, they have the ability to pour into you, which like not like a lot of people in business will give you that. We're so tapped in and running on our own reserves that like we're often pretty depleted when it comes into pouring into other people's cups. So like I'm really big on gravitating towards people with that character trait, that like they're very quick to get outside of themselves and pour into you. And like somebody like yourself who actually understands that if you pour into somebody else, that is, you know what I mean, in a cosmic energy force of a way going to come back to you at some point.
100%.
Not that we do it for that expectation, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I always try, like, when I find somebody who's really self-centered in their approach and like, you know what I mean? It's just them. It's like, listen, like, I could give you a little narcissistic hack if you would like. It's like, if you pour into other people and you try and show up better for other people, it ultimately serves you and your agenda. That's been a rewire for a lot of people. I think that we're just so super self-centered. Now they're like the greatest people. Little do you know that they're doing it for their own ends. Like, that's just how they're wired. Like, if it's advantageous for their own personal pursuits, they're all over it. If it's got to do with somebody else, maybe.
Yeah.
But once I reframe that for some people, where it's like, well, like when you're serving others, like it's going to come back to you tenfold.
100%.
They're like, oh fuck. Now they're the biggest philanthropists in the world. They're out there fucking doing everything they can. Like, hey man, fucking holding doors. Like, hey, how are you? You having a good day? Fuck, I like your shoes. And like, meanwhile, like they're so cute. Like when you know them at a more introspective level, that like that is not their character at all, and you see what they're really doing it for. But it's just like, doing it is doing it. Honestly, like it's still going to have that external, you know what I mean? It's still going to put that out into the world. So,
yeah, definitely.
So what took you? So we actually left Canada at the exact same time.
Without even knowing.
Yeah, without knowing. Like it's not like we were in like daily communication. Like we were pretty close. Like we were, you know what I mean? We were forming our bond and our brotherhood, and like we were confidants for one another and stuff, but very much on different trajectories. Like you're more in like the advertising space, social media marketing space, and like I'm in fitness and personal development. So like different spectrums, different pursuits, but like realistically, like the common ground is like business principles are business principles, and like the personal development that it takes to attribute to your professional development is one and the same. We may be studying different fields, different industries type, you know what I mean, different sectors and industries and stuff like that. But the man that we need to create and curate that is going to be able to build what we're building and not only obtain, but sustain that success is very much the same. Like we're pursuing the same personal development habits. So like, that's why I always get along with guys that are in business. It's like, we're even if we're not in the same industry, maybe we're not going to attend the same business seminars and stuff like that, or maybe you're dissecting and disseminating like different levels of information when it comes to your business specifically. But the common ground has always been like the personal development.
Yeah.
But in those, you know what I mean, in these kind of relationships, like it's not like a day-to-day thing. Like it's not a clingy thing. Like we're not so reliant on each other for like social structure and stuff like that. So like me and a guy like him in our relationship, we go a month without talking to each other, but link up like it was yesterday. Like that's the type of relationship that typically I have and that me and Eyden have.
Yeah.
So like, it was just so funny. Was it me that reached out to you?
When you came back?
No, like I was in Tulum, Mexico.
Yeah.
And you were in Thailand. And I think I linked you being like, bro, you need to come to Mexico. And you're like, I'm in fucking Thailand. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, what do you mean you're in Thailand? Like, cause like we were both in Ajax, which is like Ajax, Ontario, smaller town in the greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
Like we're downtown Toronto right now, but like where we met and like where Eyden, you know what I mean, home is and where my home was at the time was in Ajax. So it's like so funny, like, cause it's just such a small place. Like for him to be so far across the world and me to be in Tulum, Mexico, and to have not even known it and just kind of like checking in with one another and like being like, hey, what's up? Like, fuck, forgot to tell you, like, man, I moved to Tulum, Mexico. I was like, I gave everything away, sold everything, gave the apartment away, boiled it down to a suitcase and took off to Tulum. Like, I just felt called to go there. And like, I don't even know why I'm here, but like, I'm loving it. This guy's like, I'm in, like, where in Thailand were you?
I went to Koh Samui.
Koh
It's a
Samui?
small island. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a small island in like southern Thailand.
Nice. But yeah, blew my fucking mind. Like, I thought that I was calling this guy, you know what I mean, who's still stuck in fucking Ajax, being like, bro, like, you gotta come here and, like, change your fucking life. He's like, I already up and left the country. Like, I'm in Thailand, bro, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was just like, what? Like, the admiration, like, just, I was like, this guy. Cause, like, if you're a young guy and you're watching this and you feel called somewhere, like, maybe you're feeling called to Bali, maybe you're called to Thailand, maybe Tulum, Mexico's calling you. Like, there's some different places that have some strong call outs to people. And, so if you're feeling called, just go. Get your passport, book your flight, just fucking go. Don't try and worry about the finances and the particulars and all this. Like, maybe book an Airbnb so you got somewhere to stay when you get there so you can figure the place out. Like, I'm not saying just book a flight and go fucking wing it. But I'm also saying that at the same time, like, don't be over calculated with it. Like, from the time, like, from the calling to the calling to the decision to the action was like, for me, like, I didn't, how long were you feeling called to and having that opportunity reach out to you before you really acted on it?
Like going to Thailand?
Yeah.
Well, it started just around like a month before my birthday, so around June, July type of time.
Yeah. Last year, so June,
year.
July 2024. We both left, like, I left September 1st, you left.
I left after my birthday, so August 21st.
Yeah, so you literally left like 10 days before I left. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was
you know what I mean? Like, so you basically, I think what happened with you is like, you were in a community relative to your business, met some people, were doing some networking and stuff, and the opportunity presented itself to connect with a good group of guys that are in the same industry and pursuing the same things as you to go to Thailand together.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good setup as well. Like, I've known majority of them since the beginning of joining that network group.
Nice.
And with that being said, like, I just really clicked with a few of the guys. Shout out to my Asian. And with that, like, we really just locked in together and we're like, yeah, we're getting out of here. Let's figure out somewhere to go. And then
was he here too? Like, was he in Canada or where was he?
No, he was in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, he was in the States, man. So majority of the people that I'm friends now actually don't live in Canada.
Yeah. No, definitely me too. Like, everybody that I've met abroad and through community online and, you know what I mean, business and stuff like that, like, they're not from here.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like such a rare occasion. It's like, oh my God, you're from Canada?
Yeah, right.
Like, I have two friends in Tulum out of like the 100 people that I met and forged a great relationship with there that were from Canada. Shout out to Mark and Shar. You see this. Just a great couple that, they're either from Vancouver or Calgary. I want to say Vancouver, but out west in Canada.
Yeah.
And they packed up and they had like a beautiful story of being called and leaving like existing businesses and stuff. Like, Mark was in finance and stuff. So like, I was just like, I don't know if you found that like cause you went to a group of guys. I went alone. So like, I was just like, for the first time in my life, my heart was just so open and receptive to meeting new people as we're like being here and growing up the way I did and the stuff that I had done in the past and everything. Like, I was definitely a lot more reserved and not allowing myself the energy and the space for the networking that I could have been doing, because like, it really comes down to who you fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, you can probably, you know what I mean? You can attest to that. Like, 100%. You can become fucking Superman and a one-man army and everything. Like, ultimately, at one point or another, it's always going to come down to like who's in your network, who's your inner circle. Like no man's like fucking forging out absolute greatness all alone. Like even if it's just having a good friend group who can hold the mirror up on you that you trust their opinion and stuff.
100%.
We can't see it all, we can't do it all. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like so, my heart was a lot open when I got to Tulum and like just embracing people, and there was just such like a mutual admiration out of the gate for like. It's like you left everything that you know too, didn't you? Like you left your world and
Yeah.
came here. And it's like, oh, like love, bro. Like there's already just such a high level of admiration there. It's like, how the fuck, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know how big of a feat that it can be to just like up and leave your country.
100%, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you got there, did you find that you were meeting a lot of people from elsewhere, or did you stick more to your friend group that you went there with?
So in the beginning, I wasn't really too open to talking to many people. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I would go out, stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I never actively made it like my mission to like meet other entrepreneurs, meet other guys.
You
Right?
weren't actively and intentionally networking.
Yeah, I was really just about experiencing just life. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I've lived with, family
Mm.
for majority of my life.
Yeah.
Even when I moved out, I was still living with family
Yeah.
to some degree. Right. And then just being completely on your own.
Yeah, embracing that freedom.
Yeah, just embracing that freedom and,
Yeah.
me for the first time. Like obviously I've gone to the city and shit, but like going to Thailand was a next level of freedom, man. Like it's
I can only imagine. I at such a young age too, like to expand on your worldview like that, it's just fucking priceless.
yeah,
Like
100%.
priceless.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can see how like the circumstances would dictate a little bit of a difference of like you being open to and in the flow of like, you know what I mean, anybody that comes in, anybody that, you know what I mean, to embrace them and meet them.
Yeah.
Me, I was literally like, okay, like where am I gonna meet my people here?
Yeah.
Like where would my people be? And like I actually joined every gym that you could in Tulum, like and going through, spending different days, different times of the day and stuff, trying to gauge who's around and getting to know people. And that's actually where I met all of my people in Tulum, was at the gym. And then when I joined mentorship with Evan Seinfeld, I've met hundreds of people through there. Like the power, like honestly, like that's the whole point in why I do this. That's the whole point of Growth Gang, is like, I just truly understand the power of your network and the power of community, because every opportunity that has been afforded to me outside of my personal disciplines and tenacity has come from a community of those curated, like-minded individuals. Like in 2025, like we definitely have access to being able to join groups and communities that are, you know what I mean, of it within the spectrum of your interests and your ambitions, of people that may not be readily available to you, like where you're from, like for guys who grew up in small towns and stuff, like to be able to connect with, you know what I mean, with a group of guys that are pursuing the same kind of things as you and can afford opportunities to you. Like all my business advances, all my business opportunities, all of that have all come from the networks that I've been afforded through community. And like, that's been one of the most beautiful things. And like, I can see that you've definitely been living off the avails of a, you know what I mean, of a similar situation when you joined your community and everything in for your business, you know what I mean, for your business ambitions and stuff like that. You actually ended up meeting a bunch of kindred spirits and a bunch of guys that 100%. Were aligned with you and your mission, and we're going to help you grow and help you step into and pursue the things that you're going to pursue. Mm-hmm. So coming back from Thailand, like we don't have to get too personal. I know, like I landed back here due to legal problems. I have a real bad criminal record. So I tried coming back to Canada to get my dogs and to go back in, and was denied re-entry. And that just kind of put a stopper on my Tulum trip. But I now know why I've been placed back in Toronto, why I'm here. Like we wouldn't even be having this conversation if it didn't happen. So, just in a place of gratitude and excitement about what's to come, rather than being resentful about why I'm not in Tulum anymore. What's your plans for the future? You're gonna go back to Thailand? You're gonna check somewhere else? So
yeah, going back to Thailand end of this month.
Nice.
Yeah, so planning on just going back out there and really just locking in.
Right.
So the reason I came back was more about just getting like a mental reset.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I indulged in a lot of things, right? And as a young kid, I experienced a lot of things that, you know what I mean, I hadn't before.
Well, it's because a lot of new experiences became available to you that weren't
100%.
available to you before. So like, it wasn't even necessarily like a pursuit of overindulgence on your behalf. It's just like a fucking floodgate of opportunity
Yeah.
opened up to you, right? So
It was kind of overwhelming. Like, I'm going to talk about, substances for a bit, but
yeah,
I did end up getting on the like alcohol like a
drinking a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, just because like that was the atmosphere of Samui. It was just like, oh shit, you made money today. All right, let's go out.
Yeah, we're going out. Shots on you, buddy. You closed the deal. Shots on you tonight.
Yeah, exactly, right. So it was almost like every night that I would just like go to the bar, just get faded, and then the next day, same thing, right? And then it ended up turning into me just going on like a multiple week bender. And all my life, I haven't really been somebody to drink, but by just experiencing the freedom without having any kind of cap for myself,
Mm.
that was a really big lesson for me, right? It's just that allow yourself to indulge in those things, but don't go balls deep.
Don't go past your point. But
Yeah.
guys like me and you, we're always gonna go too far to find out how far you can go.
Yeah, 100%.
So like I can see why, you know what I mean, it was good for you to come back and reground and regroup. And like that's something that anybody watching this is thinking about going abroad to be well aware of that. Like when you do, especially if you're somebody who is going from living at home to living in another country with all the freedom in the world and nobody looking, you might want to be aware of the fact that you're going to overindulge.
Oh yeah.
You are. All those things that are now, you know what I mean, readily available to you, you're going to seek them out. And it can happen that you're going to overindulge, especially if the people you're around or the circumstances call for it. His was more of a celebratory thing. Like, it's not like he went there and was like, oh, it's fucking debauchery and just started fucking doing drugs and drinking and fucking everything walking. Like it was literally just like, oh my God, I'm free. And then little bits of success, little bits of success, little bits of growth. And then it became like a celebratory thing. And then it got instituted as like a daily thing by the sounds of it.
Like it got so normal to the point where you're like, yo, you close any deals? And you're like, nah, fuck. You know what I mean?
Fuck, man, we gotta go out.
Yeah, we gotta go out.
Man,
Do
my
something,
my
right?
PayPal and my Stripe account are looking pretty dry, bro. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
fucking.
that's just kind of what it was about, man. It's just like really experiencing freedom, especially being, freshly 19, right? Like, man, like I looked at the world in Samui and I was just like, like I own this place.
Nah,
You know what I mean? Like out of a place of like confident ignorance, but you know what I mean? It was just like,
world's your oyster, man. It's like, fuck it. This is me.
yeah, exactly, right? So just kind of coming back, it really allowed me to realign myself with what I really wanted to do
Mm.
and just ground myself in the sense where it's just like, okay, dude, if you continue to act in the way that you act, in the sense where like you close a deal, you party,
Yeah.
you're creating way too much.
Yeah, that's your reward response
exactly.
now. It's like
Reward response.
that's the equivalence. Like, well, I closed the deal. Like, I have to go out because that's how I trigger that reward response in, you know what I mean, in my brain. Nah, so that's another thing, a little sidebar. When you celebrate your successes, as small as they may be, make sure it's something that you want to build on because it will become your reward ritual. And if your reward ritual is something that is so counter to longevity in success in what it is that you're being rewarded for, well, just know that there's a tits up and a tank. You know what I mean? You're going to tank that at the end. It's not, there's not going to be any legs on that journey. So make sure your reward ritual is something sustainable.
Yeah, like for example, every time I close the deal, like I said, I would just go out. But now it's more of okay, what's the revenue? Right? What's the revenue for this month? How much did you close? Okay, you closed this much. All right, you get this.
Yeah.
My business partner, he was actually the one that kind of, initiated this with me. He was just like, dude, we need to become more structured in the sense where like, if you do all the inputs, then we get like the reward.
Then that output,
Yeah, so
the return can come.
Exactly. And it was a lot better for us to kind of have that schedule in a sense where it's just like, okay, dude, you made you made 10K this month. Cool. All right, let's go out. Let's have some fun.
See, like that's I do that too. It's like I always like I I check at Friday. It's like, okay, like I set these goals for myself on Sunday, you know what I mean, for the week. Like, you know what I mean? I check my KPIs. If I hit everything that I intended to hit, well, then I usually have something scheduled for Friday where, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a reward, but it's more of just a step outside the box to kind of refill my glass. Like just breaking the cycle of like my disciplines, my routines, because as refilling and as much balance as are in there and everything, like everything tips. Everything has its tipping point.
Don't be a drone. Remember to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be a fucking robot with everything.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was going to ask you about discipline because I know that is mine and your biggest common ground is our ability to have that discipline, which basically just means like circumventing temporary wishes and temporary pleasures in the moment for something that is more ideal for us in the future. Like that's discipline to me. And like, I think I come by it more naturally. Mine's actually rooted probably more in drug addiction. If I'm being fucking super honest about it, is like I just found a way to channel that obsessive energy into my disciplines opposed to pursuing substances and stuff like, you know what I mean? Those type of, anyway, those types of things. Like, so I think that I'm naturally gifted with discipline because like I've found a way to channel that obsessive nature into something else that is at least more positive for me and isn't detrimental to me over the long term. When it comes to discipline for you, because like I know you're like me, like staying out of the gym, saying, you know what I mean? Like, is it rooted in the same kind of thing for you? Like, because I find like discipline can be taught, and like I can have somebody definitely become more disciplined through having checks and balances and stuff. But at the end of the day, and I don't want to discourage anybody who doesn't feel like you have that in you, it is something that's more in you than on you. Like I kind of can't train you like I can train you to be disciplined. I can't train you to have discipline. That's the paradox right there. I can train you to be disciplined. I can't train you to have discipline. Like that's rooted in way more internal like processes. So for you, like where's your, like how I just framed my discipline, how would you frame yours?
So my perspective on discipline has actually changed recently. Like, if you need to be disciplined to do something, it's ultimately out of line with the person that you want to be. Right? So,
interesting.
Just by being the person that you want to be, literally acting as them, being them, like fully embodying the idea of who your goal is, then all those things just come naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it shouldn't be forced.
Yeah, it shouldn't be forced. It's about really taking the path of least resistance and just allowing things to naturally come to you while still maintaining that input.
See, and you said that to me that I got to chime in on the path of least resistance thing because left to interpretation could be taken the wrong way. That is coming from somebody who is at a different evolution in his disciplines. He's at a more like, me and him are the kind of guys like that will take it too far to find out how far you can go.
Yeah,
so you start kind of like learning where you can draw the line in the sand and take a step back a little bit. It's like, okay, like doesn't have to be this fucking crazy to get the results. Like once you start yielding the results and like you've been doing your discipline so consistently, it's like, okay, like some stuff you need to evolve and make it a little bit harder because that just keeps guys like me and you interested. But some stuff you learn to dial back.
Yeah.
And I believe in your new journey, like we're reading a book at the same time, reality transurfing. Go and look it up. We're not going to talk too much about it. But if, you know what I mean, if you're interested in manifestation or, you know what I mean, if you're somebody who's visioneering out your life, you should probably, go and check out reality transurfing. But being at the place that me and you are in our journeys, I completely understand where you're coming from with the notion of the path of least resistance. I don't believe that that's a healthy, something that to convey to guys that are trying to dig in and find discipline because you need to take the path of the most resistance in the beginning.
So think about it like this. There's ultimately two paths that people can take in, you know, bringing their desired outcome into their reality. It's the path of the warrior or the path of least resistance. Now, path of least resistance is ultimately just about you being that person and you actively just doing those things just because it's normal. You know what I mean? It's just how things go, right? And then the warrior's perspective is just like, okay, I gotta wake up, I gotta do all these things, like I gotta hammer all these things down. And that's what I was operating off of for like 19 years,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
why
with-
I spend most of my time there.
yeah, and with that being said, like I had very, very big on that I had like a loop that I would run myself in. It's just I would go 0 to 60, stay at 60, like pedal to the metal, and then I'd crash, hit a wall, right? And then after that, I'd just be cruising at like 20. You know what I mean? And ultimately, if you just keep doing this, is boom, down, and then you're just cruising, you're ultimately not going to go anywhere,
No.
right? So it's just about taking the path of least resistance in the sense where you're gradually allowing yourself, big thing there, allowing yourself to climb that ladder in the sense where all those things are already done because you're already that person.
Yeah, see, and that's where you start to really gain that uphill momentum. Like, it's one thing to get downhill momentum, but uphill momentum, that's when you've really built up the person that you need to be able to do those things. And that's what I'm trying to shed a little light on there in that statement. Is like, it's different. Like, once you get to a place where you have that understanding where you need to operate from being the person that you want to be in the future, and like, so you need to operate from the same value, like core values and principles that person would operate from. You need to look at things the same way. You need to make decisions from a place of being that person already.
100%.
But like that's like more of like the rebalancing. Like, it's like the center point. That means like you're literally about to be catapulted into the stratosphere of success once you start to get to that point, which is cool because even though like, that's why like I knew that this was going to be an awesome exchange and conversation that'd be valuable to the guys. It's like, I'm 36 and you're fucking 19. Like, I'm almost double your age. Like, I believe if we went through the months, I'm probably double your age. So but we're at the same place in our realizations and on our journey when it comes to the disciplines. Guy, you know what I mean? Like, my ego wants to be like, well, fucking young guys, you know what I mean? They got it all sped up and they're figuring it out faster. They had access to the information sooner than I did, blah, blah, blah. But everything in its perfect time, you know what I mean? Like, it's all just been a perfect alignment. Like, I'm always right where I need to be when I'm meant to be there. I'm always saying what I need to say when I need to say it, type shit. Like, because I'm the person that I need to be able to stand there. And that's almost like that path of least resistance piece is like, once you've created the man that you need to be to become everything that you seek, that's when that statement starts to apply.
100%.
You need to be like, you need to be coming from the place of a warrior when you're building your disciplines. And basically the warrior is who successfully murders and defeats the old you, and that new you gets to embrace that path of least resistance because the new you is capable of operating from a place of passive flow and still attracting and acting in the way that you need to get to where you're going. And it actually expedites it because that warrior approach in the beginning, it builds you and it turns you into the you that you need to be,
100%.
but it creates a lot of resistance as far as what you're trying to get. Like, what you're trying to grab is like, just keeps moving away from you. Like, the goalpost just keeps fucking moving. It's like, okay, I'm becoming the man. Like, the work is working on me. It's not yielding the results that like I want externally in the world, but so it's not working for me, but it's working on me. A lot of people miss that segment.
Think about when you met me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just purely warrior mindset. And where did that take me?
It took you to where you needed to be to evolve and level up to the place where now you get to the place where you now get to operate from.
Yeah.
Like that, like I said, like the warrior side of it versus the path of least resistance side of it. I think the warrior side of it is actually the warrior's job to kill the old you. Kill all your old cycles, all your old programming, all your old routines, all the things that are going to try and come up and drag you back into a space where your analytical mind can operate from a place of comfort because it knows what to expect in those scenarios and stuff. When you're like us and you're just shaking and moving and constantly, you know what I mean, rebuild, breaking it down and rebuilding. Like your brain doesn't know what to expect. So it's just always like, okay, like how can I pull this guy back into a fucking place where I know where we stand? Cause you know what I mean? I don't like the steady ground under me. I don't. But I just wanted to break that down. I know that we went off on a tangent there, but you had actually said that to me in conversation the other day. And like, that was my big takeaway from it. It's like the path of least resistance is definitely such a beautiful notion and something to embrace, but it comes later in your journey. Like it's like after you've built the man that you need to be to achieve the results that you seek, then you can move into that flow state. So like if you hear any of your online gurus or anything talking about flow state and everything, you need to build the unbreakable character and new core values and principles of that character and operate from the success point of that character to be able to be in that place of flow state. The warrior mindset and the approach to discipline, the more rigid, I gotta, with everything, that they both have their place, because the warrior like state and that kills the old you so that you can actually fully embrace the new you. And he's always like, you have to know it. Like, is it just me, or does the old you try and pop up all the fucking time and kill the new you?
Yeah, it's a thing about momentum, right? Like the old version of you is always going to try to really gain its power again, right? And it's just about actively deciding, like, okay, is this me or not?
Yeah, like, is this a decision the new me would make? Is this how the new me would feel?
It's not even about the new version of you. It's just you that you are now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You were in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess that's
very important to be
know.
very specific with who you're becoming, and then look at the things that you did in the past and think, like, literally a month ago, I can look at what I was doing a month ago and call myself an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because just like, what the fuck was I doing, right?
Yeah.
But now that, like, hindsight's 2020, right? So with that being said, now that I can kind of see all of the things that I've done, I can learn from it and just adapt to the current situation. It's just about being an observer overall. Doesn't matter if you're an observer in situations, just overall, you're allowed to, like, if you allow yourself to just actively observe situations, like mannerisms, people, how they speak, all these different types of things.
Your own thoughts.
Exactly. Your own thoughts, especially. Like, you're going to just right into the directions that you want to go.
Well, because then you become the person capable of holding the mirror up on yourself.
Yeah.
As where, like, I've always and still draw on for confidants like yourself, where I respect you to the point where I would allow you to remold an opinion or a thought or a belief that I have about something, because perhaps it's something that's hiding in a blind spot for me. So like, you need to have people around you can hold the mirror up. 100%. I believe when you become the observer, you find like that vantage point, like where you can really look down at yourself, like helicopter view, look down at yourself and like be able to see yourself for yourself. And like, rather than like making decisions from like I'm in it emotionally, like you're outside, you're now impartial. Like you're outside your own picture. Yeah. So like, it's like, you're not making those decisions now from an emotional place. Like, it's just like, okay, like it's more sound logic and like principle decision making when you become the observer. And like, it truly is a beautiful thing. And like, I think it's something that I'm actually like in the middle of reading in reality transurfing about, like being the observer. I believe that that's where I'm at in the chapter I'm in, is like, that's what we're talking about. But yeah, like, honestly, like, there's so much that we could talk about. We're probably going to have to do a part 2. Cause like me and you, like, we should mic up every time we hang out. Because like, honestly, like, we always have like the greatest conversations. Yeah. Like some of the greatest insights that like I've had in one-to-one conversation have actually come from conversations with you. So it was definitely really cool to set the camera up and have the opportunity to share the insights that are afforded to us through our conversations with guys at home. Because like, everybody, you know what I mean? We're all just trying to figure it out. We're all trying to make a way We're all trying to just get a better understanding of how to get where it is that in our ideals we know we're going. So like we didn't cover all the mindset stuff and like, you know what I mean, the specifics, but I think that people are going to be able to get a good understanding of who you are and like how I want to say this too, and how impressive you can be as a young man. This is one guy, and I know that, you know what I mean, he doesn't, even though he doesn't display it and doesn't wear it on his sleeve. I know all young guys all have that little complex, like where they're still so young that like they don't feel like they can operate from a position of authority and power. And like you do a very good job because you know what I mean, you operate from core values and principles and you know the work that you've done. And hopefully, you know what I mean, out of it being attributed to like guys like me who are more your senior can give you your flowers and your respect and really like show you that, you know what I mean, the person that you are and stuff. But like, I just want people at home to know that just because you're fucking 19 doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean anything. Don't allow your age to calibrate as inexperience, because you like fuck at 19 years old, I had lived more life than 80% of 80-year-olds I know. Straight up. Out of pure deep end living. Like that's just how I live. Like I lived 6 lives by the time I was fucking 20 years old. Most people barely live one. But I just want to say that while I've got a young guy sitting here and you guys are, you know what I mean, listening to us conversate and you get to hear me give my admiration and my respect to Eyden for his mindset, who he is, who he's continuing to become, what he's pursuing out of life. That just because you're fucking 19 years old doesn't mean anything. And if you're my age, man, I'm just getting started too. Like I'm fucking 36 years old. Just started a complete new industry, whole new venture, fucking $0 in the bank account type. Like, age doesn't mean shit. 1936. Very happy and like excited at the opportunity to have a young guy with young energy that is at a place that I am mentally. Fucking amazing. I can only hope that you get brothers along the way who not only meet you mentally, but stimulate you mentally. It's very fucking important. Get around people who not only challenge, but stimulate you mentally. Because like these conversations, this is where the growth really happens. Like you can give yourself your flowers and give yourself the pat on the back and, you know what I mean, cheer yourself on all fucking day. But, you know what I mean? And that's where most of your validation should come from as a man. But it's always so nice, you know what I mean, to have somebody see you, to be seen, you know what I mean, for your hard work and your efforts and your character and the resilience and the tenacity that you continue to portray day in and day out. So I just wanted to interject that as a sidebar. Don't give a fuck how old you are. Don't let any of that hold you back. Like, don't let any of that hold you back. You might feel like you're too old to get started. You're never too old to get started. Like you basically just decided that you're going to lay down and die. So like go pick out your coffin and get comfortable, I suppose. But like you're also not too young. Like one of my younger brothers, like we've been talking for over an hour now. So Marshall will never see this. Doesn't have the attention span. But one of my younger brothers, like that's always been something that he struggled with, is just like he felt like he like such an underdog because of his age for so long, like that nobody would actually be able to place him on a pedestal and give him the respect and, you know what I mean, be able to see him.
That's the thing. Anybody from the ages of 18 to like, I'd say 20, 26, I see majority of people stop at this age. Like they just totally give up. They're like, oh man, didn't work out the first time. Just might as well go to school. You know what I mean? Might as well get a job. You know what I mean? Like all these different kinds of things. There are going to be so many tests that come to you. It's really just about locking in. Just lock in.
But that's the yin and the yang to the path of least resistance. Like I keep bringing that up as like a common theme, but like, and I just want to dissect it, but in the right way. Like that is somebody choosing the path of least resistance who hasn't gone through their warrior segment and killed the old them and moved into a new them that can operate from that place. If you choose the path of least resistance and just give up and go to school, that's not any way what he's trying to articulate when he says those words. So I don't want anybody confusing that.
Like when this guy met me, I was just angry all the time. Right? Like he would come up to me sometimes like in the gym, he's like, yo, you good? I'm like, yeah, what's up, bro? And like you'd be looking at me from like across the gym. He's like, dude, you look like you're about to kill somebody. Right? So just allow yourself to be instead of being in your own head.
Yeah. We're guilty of that. Fuck. Until 5 minutes before we started recording, this fella was in his head. The whole trip down here, I was in my head. Like, don't spend too much time there. Make sure you get around, you know what I mean? Get around guys where you can get external and you can have that conversation and you know what I mean? Enjoy people, get around people. 100%. But yeah, like, I think that's an important place to wrap this up from is like, especially like on both sides of the spectrum. You feel like you're too fucking old? Fuck off. And if you feel like you're too young, equally, fuck off. Cause like, you know what I mean? Like, the only the qualified get called. So if you've been called to do something, then you know what I mean? Whether you know it or not, you've been qualified to do it as well. You know what I mean? Some people get qualified within their process. Some people get qualified before they get to it. Depending, you know what I mean? It doesn't depend. It's not excuse me. It's not dependent on where you are in that spectrum of progression. If you're called, move to action. And like what I mean by called is like if your intuition is telling you that you should pursue something or something makes you tick, something, you know what I mean, just really gives you that calling. And then you just move into it. Don't let the fear or like that paradigm of I'm too young, too inexperienced, you know what I mean? Everybody's gonna think I'm a fraud. There's no way I could have even been operating in this industry long enough to be, you know what I mean, to put myself in a position of authority or power over it. You know, don't let any of that fucking hold you back. Honestly, I see it happen so much with young guys and stuff. It's like, even in dating, like we made that joke. It's like, we could host the best sales training. I would just walk people through downtown and make them get 100 pretty girls' numbers.
Effective, man.
So that's some effective sales training right there.
But yeah, dude, like majority of the things that people label as problems aren't problems because problems are life and death matters.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Like end game shit.
Yeah, and when you really boil
can't carry on beyond it.
Exactly.
Shit,
like if you boil down your quote unquote problems, you can literally look at it and think, okay, this is not life or death. I've just labeled it as a problem and I'm allowing myself to feel these feelings when in reality, you just have to observe them. Allow yourself to feel the feeling, but don't act based off of them.
Yeah, right? Observe and acknowledge, but don't, you know what I mean? Yeah, don't move into action as a result of.
Yeah.
Like, allow it to go into to your profit and loss columns, you know what I mean, when you make a decision, but don't operate from that place.
Like, think about it like this. When you had, like, let's say you're having an actual problem, like life or death. You have no time to think. You just do. I'll apply that logic with everything in life, and I guarantee you that there is going to be a change. If you just act.
Yeah, you will get where you're going
fast.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was having a conversation with interesting guy the other day, and like the common theme in it was like we were almost arguing. I was like, like change happens in a moment. I was like, making a decision is an instant thing.
100%.
I was like, it's the process and the accumulation of information that you have a timeline attached to that you feel like making that decision or that change happening took so long. But really that's just your process. Like change and, you know, that all happens in a fucking instant. And like, that was really interesting to me in the conversation that came up the other day. I'm getting to kind of the end of my mental bandwidth here. I could tell we must have been talking for over an hour and a half now because my brain's starting to shut down. But, I just wanted to sum up like what I was saying about the sales training thing there with like bringing the guys out is like, so like you really start to hear like the stories of inadequacy internally that guys have because they'll start brandishing all of the reasons why they can't approach that girl or why she wouldn't talk to him or why that's not a good scenario over there, using the picking up girls as a framework. I would say 99% of people's internal perceived objections is age. they think, especially in a young man, or too old. Again, the spectrum, it applies to both. Like, they either think that they're too old to pursue it, or they think that they're too young to pursue it. Usually the too young is like, oh, they don't respect me. They just think I'm a kid, this and that. And then over here is like, they're too old. They're too washed up. It's like, holy fuck. Like, if those are anything hindering your decision process right now in moving into action on something that's important to you, kill it. Dead that. Move the fuck away from it. None of that fucking matters. And you can sum it up in the fashion that as long as you are living right, like you're living a life of honesty and integrity, and you wake up every day and give your best effort. Mind you, I said your best effort. It's always going to be relative to you in the day. Not everybody's fucking Superman. As long as you're putting forth your best effort to be the best version of yourself and contribute as much as you can to the world, what other people think of you is none of your fucking business, nor should it even be your concern. Don't operate from a place of making decisions or curating processes around that. You are who you need to be. You will say what you need to say when you need to say it. You will be who you need to be when you need to be it. And you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. So stop operating from that. Stop brandishing those excuses. I'm too young. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. You are you. And if you feel called to move into whatever it is that you're moving on, just know it's for a fucking reason. There's a hierarchy to all of this. If you're being called to something, don't operate, make decisions from a place of fucking fear. That's pussy shit. If you want to be a real man, you operate from sound principles and core values, and you operate and move like the man that you are becoming. The man that you got on your vision board, if you have one, that's the guy who makes your decisions. You operate from that place and stop giving a fuck what people think about you, because most of the time that's just a self-idealized perception of how other people are receiving you, and it's bullshit. So don't even go there. It was really good to have a conversation with you, bro. We're probably going to have to do a part 2. Maybe I'll have to fly out to Thailand to do it. I wouldn't be so against that. But I just wanted you guys to be able to hear from Eyden, just because of, like, he's got such an impressive mindset and a way that he's pursuing life. And he didn't come from an easy upbringing. Like, he didn't. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not some fucking suburb kid who's just, you know what I mean, lived a sheltered life. We don't need to get into, you know what I mean, all of that past life stuff. But, like, he didn't come from some easy life. Like, cause I think that, like, that happens to me a lot. Like, people want to compartmentalize, like, you got money now, it's easy for you to do this. Or, oh, well, this probably didn't happen to you when you were a kid, so it's probably easy for you to do this. It's like, you have no fucking idea. And I'll just say the same to sum it up as a whole. Like, this man's been through a lot in his fucking 19 years. And, you know what I mean, still really pushing, and still every day that every time that I spend time with him, there's a new evolution, and it's just like, fuck, like, there's always a new something with him. So make sure you're that guy. Make sure that's the guy that you're aiming to be. If you're a young man, then this is somebody that you could, you know what I mean, aspire to be more like. Trust me. But I'm going to wrap it up here. It's a great reflection from mindset from a young guy and a guy with a little bit more experience. But I would say that we share a very mutual spectrum of life experiences, outlooks, core values, and principles, which is, like, in no way correlated to age, but 2 different perspectives, 2 different eras, very similar people. So I hope that you guys got a lot out of this conversation. Until next time, my brothers, let's grow together.